I recently sat down with Sherry Brown, Director of Bristol, Tennessee's Community Development Department, and Clay Walker, CEO of Network Sullivan Partnership, to discuss the Strategic Partnerships for Economic Growth and Sustainability Plan, which was put in place in 2013.
Well, we've got 2.5 years worth of work behind us. A lot of projects finished, a lot of them with fantastic progress made, and some of them teed up and ready to have good progress to report next year. Several years ago, it became pretty apparent that we really needed to get all our partners together and figure out who our partners are, such as networks, and to set that straight path, that common path for how we all work together to do good things and really promote and advance economic development projects in Bristol. Networks is one of our primary partners in doing so because they're the economic development agency for Sullivan County.
Yeah. And it's a very good in-depth plan with deliverables, accountability, all the really good attributes that a plan should have. And I think that from the meeting the other night when we did the update, it was nice that so many of the initiatives were so far along.
Oh, yeah.
And that's encouraging. And the plan's not old enough to where you want to say, okay, we're done with this, let's move forward. I think you just constantly adjust the plan. It becomes kind of a fluid work in progress always, and it's not, you're not married to every word, but the plan, a plan like that could have a long livelihood of putting together. And I think that proves that it is a strong plan because very few things have been dropped out of it.
Right.
A few things have been completed in it, but I think it's something that we need to stay on course, in my view, from Network's perspective. I would like to see the city kind of stay on course to that. And we're adding things to it. One of the things to it was about the exploration of a spec building. So we've kept that on there, but we've adjusted it. We're looking at maybe now doing a virtual building program. The spec building is a shell of a manufacturing space, and you build it very broadly. Make sure you have high ceilings, wide column spacing. You don't put the floor in, you just gravel the floor so that it's ready to go and somebody can come in and quickly build it out to their specifications and become operational in a shortened period of time.
Right.
Most big job creating projects start out looking for a building and not a greenfield. So it's a way of building product. And so we've talked about doing one in Bristol. And I think, and we haven't ruled that out, but our parks aren't quite as near the interstate, and that's really kind of a thing in spec buildings. If you're going on the checklist on what makes it smart to invest, interstate access and visibility is high on that list. That's not to say we can't do it, but you just got to go in eyes wide open. And I think maybe these aren't exactly the right words, but kind of a safer bet. At the same time, getting more bang for our buck would be if we went through the process of doing a virtual spec building. By that, I mean that you would design a building, work with a construction company, get the blueprints approved, get the footprint of the building, get where the parking's going to go, where everything's going to go, and have it go through the planning process as if it were a real project, working with Sherry and her staff. And you have a building permit for that building.
Right.
And you could issue that permit today,
Like that.
sell the property, they could start digging, and then when they say, well, we want to add 3 dock doors, well, we want to adjust the parking and go to the back. All that can be done in-house, so it won't slow them building.
Right.
So the whole, you can knock off several months of the project from the time they're looking and the time they're up and doing business, and very little expense. And you can also offer an array of size of buildings, so you're not just married to that one building that you have. And when you have 1.5 million square foot investment on a piece of property, the pressure is there, and it better be right. And you can move it, but so many times what spec buildings have done, and this is a good thing, but it's an expensive marketing tool. They've gotten people to the area and the building not been right, but you sell them on, you make a business case for your area or your park, and they build near the spec building, and that's a success, but it's an expensive marketing tool. And I think virtual buildings can do the same thing, and they'd be more likely that they actually go into the virtual buildings, but even if they don't, it's a less expensive marketing tool. So it's just an example of of working with our partners. I mean, partnerships. It's cliche in economic development, but it's
That's
because it's so important and real. And so in getting creative, talking to Sherry about how your planning department can handle that, about permitting fees and all the things that go with it. How can we deal with all these issues? They're all issues that are, any issues that are solvable issues. I think by thinking outside the box, we can get just as much bang and not tie up our monies. And, we have a limited number of resources, so if we're not
Absolutely.
tying them up, they could go somewhere else.
The goals are to improve the vibrancy of the community, to become a more robust, healthy community, and to play upon the assets that we know we have. We've got a strong manufacturing base. The arts are very important here. Our cultural amenities, including the Speedway, are very important here, and music, as well as the medical industry.
We're a very unique place here with the whole Tri-Cities dynamics as opposed to one central metro. And each city has its own unique characteristics and personalities, and it really is appealing. As from somebody who's not from this area, who's just been here a year, I've just found it remarkable, the opportunities for recreation and entertainment, as well as for him looking around and seeing the different career paths, and in playing on the things like the Speedway, like the birthplace of country music, you scratch out an identity that nobody else can claim.
Right.
There are a lot of speedways, but there's only one Bristol Motor Speedway. That is
World's
for
fastest
sure.
half mile.
It absolutely is, and there's only one birthplace of country music.
Right.
And it ties in too so well with our state. Of course, our state ECD logo has a guitar
Has a
incorporated
guitar.
into it, and so you look at Nashville, obviously with the Music City, and you look at Memphis as being right there along the Delta and home of the blues, and with B.B. King's and Bill Street, and we just fit in so well across the state with this music.
Right.
And then you look at things around the region that enhance what Bristol is, what Sullivan County is outside of it. I mean, you look at Abington, Virginia, and you cross the state line, you look at Jonesboro, and you look at the storytelling,
Right.
just so many unique things, the General Shell Museum, and where kids can go and, dig up dinosaur bones. I mean, there's just so many cool things here. We're just a little more spread out. But I think it adds to what it is, because the more time, driving around here is pretty convenient, and it's beautiful with the mountains and the scenery.
It is.
It all makes a great package, and I mean, Bristol is really at the center of this, and so many, and two of our major landmarks, I think, our calling cards are right here with the Speedway and the birthplace of country
Right.
music. Along with certainly State Street is a unique, fun place to be. We had site location consultants in for several days this past August, and showing them our region and culminating with the night race. But the night before the race, when we were on State Street, I mean, everybody
They were
went to
blown
straddle
away.
the line and have their picture in front of the Bristol sign and saying, I'm in Virginia and I'm in Tennessee. It's just a really cool thing. And nobody got killed standing out in the middle of the road. We came close a few times. But no, it's a fun place to be. And Sherry and I are fortunate in our jobs because we get to see our community through outsiders' eyes so often.
Yes.
Plan your work and work your plan, and that's what you're doing. That's what we're all doing collectively, and it's going to change.
Of course.
But it's still going to be that we are who we are, and that's not going to change dramatically.
Right.
But we're just going to have so much more, and it's going to be so much better.
Right.
I really think that. I mean, that's why I
too.
came. I mean, I looked at that, I was in the Nashville market, and I've had people saying, why do you want to leave the Nashville market when you're in economic development? I think Northeast Tennessee is the next big thing. And I think particularly Sullivan County is going to lead the way. I mean, we joke
Of
about
course.
we've got all the
Of
cool
course it
toys.
is. That's right.
We have
do.
the Speedway. We have Eastman. We have the RCAM. We have all these colleges and all the higher ed and all the training. And I looked and saw, Networks has 3 industrial parks. BTS has an industrial park. We have properties. And not only do we have properties, but we have a history and a mindset that we will have properties, that we know we have to
Yes.
keep developing product.
Right.
So everything's in place here. And
Ready.
this plan is such a help. It was such a well done. I wish I had been here 2.5 years ago to say I was a part of that, because it's such a good thing. That's part of the creation. And although I can't say that, it definitely makes me want to be a part of the execution of the plan.
Well, I appreciate
because
the way
it's so
you
good.
jumped in and you've helped us move forward with it.
Well,
It's been a great help.
well, thank you. But the pleasure's been mine. It's easy. It's easy to get excited about something that's so well done. And again, you start with a good plan and you work the plan properly, good results are going to happen.
For more information about the Strategic Partnerships for Economic Growth and Sustainability Plan, contact Sherry Brown, Director of the Bristol, Tennessee Department of Community Development.